It's lights out and away we go! And Bottas gets away very nicely indeed. Verstappen alongside Lando Norris. Albon and Hamilton going wheel to wheel as Bottas through turn one. And Norris goes ahead of Verstappen but off the track. Also off the track goes Charles Leclerc as well. Bottas leads. Verstappen's back in second. Norris behind him. Albon has Lewis Hamilton right alongside him as well. And then there's three abreast behind that. Perez and Vettel and also Carlos Sainz as into turn three we go. And Norris pressurising Verstappen but having to stay behind.
Norris then, he tried to go around the outside. Verstappen was not leaving him any space, but look, he's got a great slipstream. No DRS, no drag reduction system for the first two laps, of course. And it's getting very close. Lewis really struggling in the back of the pack then with DRS. He's going to be in great shape when it comes to the braking zone of turn four. He might even be in third place, and he is.
It didn't even need the braking zone of turn four. DRS helping him blast leads as we cross the line and the green flags wave once more. From Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez and Alex Albon racing him towards turn one. Then comes Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc right behind him. Behind Leclerc comes Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. They didn't pit. Ocon didn't pit in eighth. And going wide there was Antonio Giovinazzi. Sainz did pit. He's ninth. Giovinazzi was 10th. Might lose a place to Fiat. As into turn three we go. Lock up there from Perez. Albon goes down the inside. There's a safety car on the track, but not at this moment. And they all slow down. Oh, and that's why Kimi Räikkönen's had a massive crash. Albon's got a slipstream on Lewis Hamilton. He might be in a chance here of overtaking. Going into turn three, he's going to have to go the long way round. Perez is having to defend from Lando Norris as well. Great exit from Alexander Albon. He's got the soft compound tyre on. You would expect that. The hard tyre is on the Mercedes. Albon is all over the back of Hamilton, who once again forces in the long way round. Norris goes the long way round on Perez.
No, not
and
again.
Albon again, no, with Lewis Hamilton. He's lost out. Brilliant. Charles Leclerc into the podium places as Lewis Hamilton is given a 5-second penalty for causing a collision with Alex Albon. If Mercedes want to let Hamilton get past Bottas, give him clear air ahead and just go and extend your advantage. At the moment, they've got about 6-7 tenths in hand on Lando Norris, who could finish on the podium yet, because Hamilton's going to take a 5-second penalty, but that's what they've got to watch for, Mercedes.
Yeah.
71 laps out of 71 here. Chaos and carnage at times, but Valtteri Bottas wins the season opener here in Austria. It is a Mercedes 1-2 on the road, but Hamilton will not keep second place. He gets a 5-second penalty. Charles Leclerc, after a miserable weekend so far for Ferrari, gets on the podium, and Lando Norris gets on the podium for the first time in Formula One because of Lewis Hamilton's penalty, and by a tenth of a second, Lando Norris is a podium sitter. McLaren are on the podium, and what a start to the season this has been. I don't know about you, Martin Brundle, but I've really enjoyed those 71 laps. Should we do it again next week?
Yeah, let's do it exactly again next week. It's not often I get so engrossed in a race I didn't even notice it was the last lap.
Well, that makes two of us. All good things come to those who wait, I said a while ago. Well, in terms of racing entertainment, the Austrian Grand Prix today, that was a very good thing indeed. It's the first ever Styrian Grand Prix. It's lights out, away we go. Hamilton and Verstappen get away well. Sainz is already closing up on Verstappen. Bottas on his own in fourth place. Hamilton leads into turn one. Sainz goes through and off the track ahead of Verstappen. Comes back on behind the Red Bull. Bottas in fourth. And now Alex Albon and Esteban Ocon are getting quite keen with each other as well. It's a very comfortable afternoon for Lewis Hamilton. He comes round the final corner to win the Styrian Grand Prix. And for Mercedes, a first 1-2 at this track since 2015, and there. Well, it wasn't quite the hysteria that we had in Styria last week, but it was still a compelling race nonetheless. Back-to-back races in Austria, back-to-back successes for Mercedes. They lead the Constructors' Championship. Bottas 6 points clear of the Drivers' Championship, and we'll head to Budapest for more in 7 days' time. Hungarian Grand Prix, 70 laps to come around the Hungaroring. And It's lights out and away we go, and it's a tentative start for everyone but Charles Leclerc. Brilliant start from him. Sergio Perez slow away. Hamilton is clear of Lance Stroll. Then comes Sebastian Vettel, Charles Leclerc, Valtteri Bottas has had a stinker, and Max Verstappen goes around the outside looking for third place. Hamilton leads from Stroll, and then the Ferrari gets twitchy over Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc too, but they avoid contact as Max Verstappen goes down the inside and into third place. Lance Stroll pits, and into the pit lane comes Lewis Hamilton, the race leader.
Lewis Hamilton actually built a nice gap to get comfortably out without having to do anything special in the pits. It was a steady stop.
And this will lift Lewis Hamilton, I'm sure, to the top of the Drivers' Championship. No one's ever won 3 races in a row at the Hungaroring. Lewis Hamilton's done it now, though. It's the Hungarian Grand Prix for the 8th time for Lewis Hamilton. Crossing the line in second place, it's the mistake turned into a podium for Max Verstappen. Second place for Red Bull. Valtteri Bottas comes home in third. And I'm sure Mercedes were expecting more than that, but Bottas's start cost him dear as he had to make his way through the field. Valtteri Bottas didn't have the performance that he wanted today. Max Verstappen unhappy all weekend with the performance of his car, salvages a second place, whilst Lewis Hamilton and his race engineer Pete Bonington smile and taste the victory champagne. It's been a very busy first 3 races in 2020, and as we head for our first week-long break, it's Hamilton and Mercedes on top. It's lights out and away we go. Verstappen gets away well. Can he catch the two Mercedes? Hamilton out in front of Bottas, who's got the inside line going into Abbey. Hamilton only just into the lead, ahead of Bottas and Verstappen, and it's Charles Leclerc. Great start from him. Lance Stroll is putting Lando Norris under pressure. There's a lock-up as well, as round the outside of the Ferrari goes Max Verstappen, and going wide is Kimi Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo. Now we head down to the Wellington Straight, and Hamilton leads from Bottas. We now see Lewis Hamilton coming in, Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen coming into the pits. The top 3 maintain their order. Leclerc should come out in 4th place as well. As we start racing again, into Village, round the outside of Daniel Ricciardo, goes Lando Norris. He's now got the inside line, gets squeezed a little bit for Carlos Sainz there as well, but Sainz might be able to help him out. No, Ricciardo just keeps ahead of the McLaren. That battle's going to carry on down the Wellington Straight. Lando Norris, and that is Lewis Hamilton, and Hamilton is winning the Grand Prix, but look at the state of that Mercedes car. He's going through maggots and Beckett's at the moment. Hamilton's tyre's gone. Verstappen's just going through Woodcote. He's about 4 corners behind. This is now Lewis Hamilton praying that the checkered flag comes as soon as is humanly possible. The gap between Hamilton and Verstappen going down all the time, 20 seconds at the moment, as down the Hangar Straight comes Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen just going through, you can see him in the background, going through Chapel, through Stowe now with Lewis Hamilton. There. Well, they shouldn't catch him from there, but who knows how this race is going to end.
Can we win this? If you get on with it.
If you get on with it, it's the right instruction through the Vale chicane. Look how difficult it was to stop. But for Lewis Hamilton, the checkered flag will come in the nick of time for a 7th British Grand Prix victory, and a record 7th British Grand Prix victory for the most wins at home. It's Lewis Hamilton who takes the race. Max Verstappen comes home to take second. Charles Leclerc for Ferrari picking up a 2nd podium of the season, ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. This is the race winner, Lewis Hamilton, going through Luffield and Woodcote when his tyre went, and well, it's a good job he had 30 seconds over Max Verstappen, otherwise he wouldn't be winning today. Mercedes had a good day on one side of the garage. Valtteri Bottas could have been on that podium, but just a few laps from the ends, the tyres started to give way and caused him trouble. Silverstone produced late drama. We'll see what it produces in 7 days' time. We'll be back again for the 70th anniversary race. Surely it couldn't be as good a finish. It's the 70th anniversary Formula 1 Grand Prix, lights out and away we go. And the 2 Mercedes then head towards Abbey. Bottas ahead of Hamilton. Verstappen's got ahead of Hülkenberg right at the start. Ricciardo is ahead of Stroll. And
Somebody's
now,
round.
And someone's turned round, and we can see just in the background some puffs of smoke there. We'll try and work out what's happened. But in now, to the loop we go. Bottas on the inside of Hamilton. Verstappen, then comes Hülkenberg, and Ricciardo going wide. Lance Stroll gets past. Daniel Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel has had problems at the start. He was the car that we saw having all sorts of problems. But here come the 2 Mercedes into just ahead of Hamilton. It's like it was 12 months ago in the British Grand Prix. Hamilton pushing and driving forward his teammates. Given the instruction to box, and he'll be mightily relieved to hear that in his earphones.
So now Max needs to get on with it, as his engineer would say to him.
But how far can he go? How far can Max Verstappen go on these tyres?
This is a completely different game now. If Mercedes has gone straight out and damaged those tyres, I fully expected Bottas and Hamilton to be flying along a whole lot faster than that. In fact, they're not as fast as Verstappen.
Verstappen is the real threat here if he's one stop.
Hard tyres to go on for Lewis Hamilton to go to the end of the race. Max Verstappen takes over in the lead of this race. Valtteri Bottas goes through in second place. Charles Leclerc will go through in third. Going down the Hangar Straight, and he's got DRS as well. Another 15 kilometres an hour advantage in terms of pace, but the wheel-to-wheel now going through Stowe. Hamilton's got the inside line, and he puts himself back into the podium places. A virtual fan screen cheering their heroes on. Hamilton tries to go around the outside at the loop and now to Aintree, but he's got DRS to go down the Wellington Straight, and this is where Bottas is really in trouble. Already goes down to the left-hand side, protects that inside line, but Hamilton's got the pace to go round the outside at Brooklands, and Max Verstappen leads, and it's now Lewis Hamilton in second place with Valtteri Bottas down in third and struggling. Since 2012, Hamilton comes home to finish second and to equal that record of Michael Schumacher's. Valtteri Bottas has to settle for third place. And it is very much Red Bull's day and Red Bull's weekend here. The 70th Anniversary Grand Prix goes to Red Bull and Mercedes. From here on in, have they now got the challenger that all neutrals want to see? Well, we'll find out in Spain in 7 days' time.